Hi everyone, and welcome to this short session called Breathing Freely, where we'll be focusing on the breath. And I'm sure you've been told by someone when you're feeling stressed, just relax and take a deep breath. And actually that is good advice, because when we breathe deeply, that triggers a relaxation response in the body. But something that we don't always think about is the flip side. And that is the fact that stress can really have a detrimental effect on our natural breathing patterns. So if you think about when you're feeling stressed, your breath tends to become shallow. Sometimes you stop breathing altogether for a short period. And so it follows that chronic stress can really lead to a weakening of the muscles that we use when breathing. And in turn, that can really inhibit the body's ability to breathe properly, which leads to more tension in the body, more stress, more shallow breathing, and it becomes a cycle. Not only that, the muscles that we use to breathe are the same ones that are really important for our posture. So if you are someone that experiences stress, you might also have tension in the neck and shoulders, maybe in the lower back, even in the belly, which can lead to digestive issues. And so today we're going to focus on reinvigorating those muscles and waking them up. And I'm really confident that if you do this practice daily or on a regular basis, that you will find that your body is less tense, you will feel more energized, and maybe you will experience improved mood as well. So we're going to get started, but before we do, a word of advice. If you have eaten a big meal, I would suggest saving this video for later, because you will regret doing these exercises on a full stomach. And if you're pregnant, you're welcome to do this practice. I'm just going to give you some suggestions for modifications to make it more comfortable for you. So if you're ready, let's get started. So during the practice, we're going to use a deep breath into the belly. And so, and throughout the practice, and why? Throughout the practice, we are going to use a deep belly breath, which means taking nice deep inhales into the belly, letting the belly expand as you inhale. And so throughout the practice, we are going to use a deep belly breath. You might notice that when you take a deep breath naturally, that you breathe into the chest. And that is our diaphragm not wanting to work. And the diaphragm is a really important muscle in breathing, especially deep breathing. So we're going to practice this deep belly breath. So I invite you to place the hands on the belly and take a deep inhale. Let the belly expand and soften on the exhale. And this might feel unnatural for you, because we don't tend to breathe this way. And really let the muscles relax here. So your belly's going to get really big as you expand it on the inhale. Maybe more so than you'd want anyone to see. But we all have this round belly when we relax it, so don't worry about it. And this is the breath we're going to use throughout the practice. And let's just let go, come back to the natural breath. So our first exercise that we're going to do is going to focus on the diaphragm, that all-important muscle for deep breathing. And a lot of us do have an underused diaphragm and therefore a weak one. So this exercise is going to help to strengthen it. So we're going to use a bottle for this, if you have one handy. If you don't, you can use your hands, but a bottle just makes it easier to give yourself leverage because we are going to press into the diaphragm when we breathe. And as I mentioned, if you are pregnant, this might not be a great exercise for you. You might want to just continue with the deep belly breathing. Obviously, putting pressure on the belly is not going to feel comfortable. If you're not too far along and you don't have a big belly yet, then you might want to give it a try. Just see how you feel. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. So just listen to your body. But if you're ready to do this, let's just have the bottle ready. And we're going to place our hands on the bottom ribs. And we're going to follow the ribs up to the sternum, so the place where they meet. And just under the sternum, in that fleshy area, we're going to place the bottle. And so you can use the top or the bottom, whichever one feels more comfortable for you. And we're going to press the bottle in and up. So we're trying to kind of get in behind the sternum there. That's where the diaphragm lives. And this practice is actually great to do when you're lying down, but I'm just going to demonstrate it sitting up. So we're going to do that deep belly breath into the bottle. So we're really pressing the bottle in and up into the diaphragm, just making it harder for the diaphragm to contract, to make it work more. And just notice how it feels. I know that when I first did this, that I felt a little bit nauseous. And I think that was because I had so much tension there. But gradually it started to release. And I found that I could take deeper breaths than I could before. So just pressing the bottle into the diaphragm as strongly as you want to. We want to make the diaphragm work, but we don't want to injure ourselves. So just do whatever feels right. You might notice a release of tension in other parts of the body. I'm actually feeling it in my hips right now. It just goes to show that all our muscles are connected. And that tension in one part can lead to tension in another without us realizing it. And let's just take 3 more breaths here. Full belly breaths. And gently opening the eyes if they're closed. And we'll just place the bottle off to the side. So for our next exercise, I'm going to invite you to interlace the hands behind the head, lift the chest, and reach the elbows back as if you're trying to touch them together behind the head. You're welcome to close the eyes here and invite that deep belly breathing into the body once again. Really sensing where you can feel the breath. I really feel a stretch in my chest here. I'm actually feeling a release of tension in the shoulders and the upper back. Just notice where you experience the sensations. And we'll just take 3 more breaths here. As deep as you can. And coming back to our seated position. And from here we're going to do our deep belly breathing in a side stretch. So that's really going to work the intercostal muscles, which are those muscles between the ribs. So taking whatever side you want to start with, just coming over as deep as you can, and then nice deep breathing. Filling up the belly. Two more breaths here. And back up and over to the other side. And noticing if this side feels different. Usually we have one side that's tighter, that's more tired. Two more breaths. And back up. And next we're going to focus on the obliques, which are in the abdominals and a little bit off to the side. And we're going to do that by doing our deep belly breathing in a twisted position. Now, if you're pregnant, then I would suggest taking just a really gentle twist. Again, you don't want to put too much pressure on the belly. So just maybe placing your left hand on your right knee and just coming into your deep belly breathing. If you are coming into the full twist, then I suggest taking as deep a twist as you can, obviously without hurting yourself. So maybe just placing a hand on your knee or on the chair. And deepest twist that you can do without going over. That's a little Price is Right joke. No. And so in your deep twist, we're going to do our deep belly breathing once again. And really encouraging the breath into the belly. And it might feel a bit strange again. So all that pressure we're putting on the abdominals in the twist. And let's just take 3 more breaths here. We'll just do the other side. And again, if you're pregnant, just doing a little twist. If you're not, taking it as deep as you can. If you're lucky, you might have a crack in the spine. And 2 more breaths. And coming back. So we'll continue with our deep belly breathing. This time we're going to add a little visualization to it. So closing the eyes and welcoming in that deep belly breathing. Feeling the stomach expand, stretch on the inhale and soften on the exhale. And continuing with your breath, can you now sense that expansion happening in the sides of the body, in the ribs, sides of the waist, the hips. Sense them stretching on the inhale, softening on the exhale. And continuing the breath, can you now sense that expansion in the back? Feeling the back filling up with breath on the inhale, softening on the exhale. And as you continue breathing, can you sense the expansion happening all around? Front, sides, and back at the same time. Don't think too hard about it. Just let it happen. And 2 more breaths here. And gently opening the eyes. So we're going to finish our practice with pelvic diaphragm breathing, which involves drawing the pelvic floor muscles in and up on the exhale. So if you're familiar with Kegels, then you'll know where we're going. We're just going to take it a bit more gentle than we do with Kegels exercises. So if you're not familiar with Kegels, or you're not familiar how to engage the pelvic floor muscles, I always give the advice, which I learned from my gracious teacher, to imagine that you're holding in pee and a fart at the same time. So just have a little play with that. There it is. And it might take a bit of practice to get used to engaging this muscle. But just give it a try, you'll get better at it. So we're going to do our deep belly breathing as we normally do, but this time on the exhale we're going to gently and slowly engage the pelvic floor muscles. So let's give it a go when you're ready. Take a nice deep inhale. Exhale, draw the pelvic floor muscles in and up. Exhale, in and up. And just continue this. You'll get the hang of it eventually. And this is a great exercise to do anyway for your posture. It helps really to develop the core muscles as well. And I find that it really does make you feel more energized when you do this exercise. In the practice of yoga, we believe that our life source, our energy source, sits in the pelvis. And so this exercise can really make you feel stronger and energized. So let's just take 3 more here. And letting go. Thank you for joining me for this practice. I hope you enjoyed it. And as I mentioned at the beginning, I really encourage you to practice this on a regular basis. And I really believe that you will notice a difference in your body and in your mood. So thank you for joining me.